scary. My heart is racing.
Get off the trail!
They thought it was just another peaceful hike through nature. But what they didn't know was something terrifying was waiting deep in the woods. This is not your average walk in the forest. This is pure horror. Caught in real life. Fake Bigfoot caught on camera. This video starts with a man walking through the woods, and suddenly, there it is! A figure that looks like Bigfoot, but wait, look closely. It's not some mysterious creature, it's just a man in a costume, pretending to be the legend. The video claims it's in 4K, but the footage looks shaky and staged. The narrator keeps talking like it's a big discovery, but honestly, it's just another fake clip keeping the old myth alive. If Bigfoot was ever truly caught on camera, it would be the biggest news in the world. Hunters, reporters, and scientists would flood the area. But until then, people keep making these silly videos, trying to keep the legend alive. Grizzly bear. They were just there to enjoy the hike. A group of Australian tourists were walking through B National Park in Alberta, Canada in 2024, thinking they'd left all their dangerous animals back home. But suddenly, right in the middle of the trail, stood a huge grizzly bear staring right at them. That's rare. Only 65 bears live in that massive park, and just 700 across the whole of Alberta. But out of all the people and all the places, this bear showed up exactly where they were walking. And here's where things got scary. The bear didn't just stop and stare, it actually started following them down the trail. But luckily, one of the hikers knew what to do. He stayed calm, spoke gently to the bear, and even had bear spray ready. The group slowly backed away while the bear watched. Finally, the bear lost interest and walked off. Nobody got hurt, but you can imagine how fast their hearts were beating. Bears may look cute, but trust me, one wrong move and things could have ended very differently. Stalked by a cougar. He was just out for a peaceful hike, but things turned terrifying real fast. A man in Utah was walking down a trail when he saw some cute little cubs. Thinking they were harmless, he took out his phone to snap a few pictures. But then his stomach dropped. These weren't just any cubs, they were mountain lion cubs. Within seconds, their mother came out of the trees, and she was not happy to see a stranger so close to her babies. The man slowly backed away, trying to look big and strong while yelling at the cougar, but it didn't care. It followed him for 6 long minutes, lunging and growling, ready to pounce. His camera caught every second of this chilling standoff. Luckily, he made it out without a scratch, but if that cougar had been just a little more aggressive, this could have ended in tragedy. Bigfoot in the woods, or just a clever trick? It started like something straight out of a spooky forest story. A hiker was walking through the trees in Lawton, Oklahoma, when they suddenly spotted what they claimed was Bigfoot. Terrified, they grabbed their phone and posted the clip on TikTok. They even shouted in fear during the video and ran away fast, afraid the creature might spot them too. The video got thousands of views, and for a moment, people really believed it might be true. But hold on, things quickly started to fall apart. TikTok users were quick to point out that the Bigfoot looked exactly like the costume used in those Jack Link's beef jerky ads, the messin' with Sasquatch ones. And guess what? It turned out the whole thing was fake, just a marketing stunt for a local Bigfoot-themed shop in Lawton. Sure, the video got the attention it wanted, but many viewers felt tricked. Pretending something is real when it's clearly not? Yeah, people don't like that. Trapped by weather, saved by a bear camera. The sky looked normal when he started walking, but out of nowhere, Alaska's weather turned wild. In 2023, a lone hiker passed a live camera in a park meant for spotting bears. He gave a thumbs down to the camera, showing that things weren't going well. Minutes later, the storm grew worse. Heavy rain, freezing winds, and thick fog made it impossible to see or move safely. He returned to the camera, this time asking for help. Luckily, someone was watching the live feed and didn't waste a second. Rangers were called and rushed to find the man before the storm swallowed him whole. Thankfully, they got to him just in time. He survived with barely a scratch, but if no one had been watching that camera, this story could have ended very differently. So, here's the real warning. Never mess with the weather, especially on the trail. Always check the forecast before you hike. Trapped by the flood? They thought it would just be another exciting hike, but nature had other plans. In 2015, 7 hikers entered the narrow canyons of Zion National Park in Utah. Even after being warned about possible flash floods, they decided to continue. It wasn't just a casual trail walk. They had special permission to explore deeper canyon routes, but when the rain hit, a powerful flood roared through the canyon, leaving no time to escape. The water came so fast that their bodies were found kilometers away. Park rangers searched for days just to bring them all back. Sadly, 5 more people died in another part of the park from the same storm. All of this could have been avoided if they had listened to the weather alerts. Sometimes, staying safe is just about making the smarter choice, and that choice can save your life. Bear on the trail. This is one of those wild moments you never forget. A group of hikers were standing high on a mountain trail when they spotted a bear far below, way too close to another group of hikers. What made this intense was that the high ground hikers tried to help. They shouted loudly, waved, and did everything they could to scare off the bear and guide the others to safety. It felt like a real-time rescue, all caught on camera. But here's where things got risky. Just when the danger seemed to be passing, the hikers down below made a mistake. They ran. That's something you should never do near a bear. Lucky for them, the bear didn't chase. Maybe it was just curious and chose to wander off instead. But one wrong move, and this story could have ended in disaster. Close call with a mountain lion. They were just out for a peaceful hike in Sequoia National Park, but that calm didn't last long. A group of hikers noticed something moving just ahead. It looked like a big cat slipping out of view. Instead of turning back, they made a huge mistake. They followed it. As they climbed higher along the trail, they searched for the animal, only to realize the mountain lion was already watching them from above, locked in and ready to attack. Now here's the wild part. One guy holding the camera casually asks, "What are we supposed to do? Seriously?" The answer is, don't follow a predator into its territory. Luckily, they stayed calm, backed away slowly, and avoided any sudden moves. The mountain lion kept staring at them but didn't follow. In the end, they walked away with a terrifying story and a video that could have ended much worse. Stalked by a black bear. It started like a normal day on a peaceful trail in Canada. A couple and their 3 kids were out enjoying the fresh air when something chilling happened. They realized a black bear had joined them. Not from far away. It was right there, quietly following their every step. Most people would panic, but this family tried everything they had learned, clapping, yelling, raising their arms to look bigger. But this bear, it didn't care one bit. For 20 long minutes, the bear stayed on their heels, sometimes just 1 meter behind them. Imagine the fear of knowing your kids are right there and a wild bear just won't leave. But somehow, the family stayed calm the whole time. Step by step, they made it to safety without anyone getting hurt. That kind of courage, it's rare. And terrifying to even think about. Wrong step, wild fall. The trail looked peaceful, but danger was just 1 step away. A man was hiking along the edge of a cliff when his foot slipped, and suddenly, he was sliding down the mountain. The whole scary moment was caught on a 360 DG camera, showing his face full of fear as he slid helplessly across the rocky slope. His fall finally stopped when he crashed into some trees below. He was lucky to survive, but not without injuries. Most people would never hike again after something like this. But not him. He healed up and went right back to the mountains, refusing to give up. One wrong step nearly ended it all, but he didn't let fear win. If anything, he proved one thing. Always expect the unexpected, and maybe keep the camera rolling. Avalanche almost took their lives. They were just hiking for the view, but nature had other plans. A group of friends was climbing a mountain when one of them noticed something strange far ahead. It looked like snow rolling, but then it grew bigger. It was an avalanche coming straight at them. The guy with the camera kept filming as it got closer and closer. His quick thinking saved the day. Just when things looked bad, they ran behind big rocks and stayed low. The snowstorm rushed past them without touching a single person, but here's the scary part. They later said they were planning to go down into the valley right before the avalanche happened. If they had moved a few minutes earlier, they might not have survived to tell the story. Trapped in snow on Mount Elbert. Two hikers were climbing Mount Elbert in Colorado, the state's highest peak, when out of nowhere a snowstorm hit hard. It wasn't just snow. It was a full whiteout. They couldn't see anything, not even the path ahead. Every step became dangerous, and going forward was not an option anymore. But here's the scary part. They weren't even prepared. Their clothes weren't warm enough, and they didn't have proper gear or supplies. If rescue teams hadn't reached them in time, they could have frozen to death up there. It was pure luck that saved their lives. Calm queen versus the black bear. She was just sitting on a rock, enjoying the peaceful forest in New Jersey, when out of nowhere, a black bear came walking up, just 1 or 2 meters away from her. The moment could have gone horribly wrong, but she didn't panic. She slowly stayed calm, barely moving, knowing one wrong move could trigger the bear. The man holding the camera stayed quiet too, making sure not to alarm the bear with his voice. Later, when the video went viral, everyone called the woman the Calm Queen for her bravery, and honestly, she earned it. Thanks to their calm thinking, both of them walked away safely. Landslide terror on the trail. They were just enjoying a hike, breathing in the fresh mountain air, when nature suddenly flipped the script. Out of nowhere, water started trickling down the rocky path ahead of them. At first, it didn't seem dangerous, just a bit of runoff. But then someone shouted a warning, "Get to higher ground!" And just seconds later, it hit. A landslide came crashing down with rocks, mud, and water thundering through the trail. What started as a peaceful hike turned into a life or death moment in the blink of an eye. Huge rocks slammed down the path like bowling balls, and a thick wave of mud followed behind. If any of it had hit those hikers, it would have been over, crushed or swept away with no chance to escape. That's how fast nature can turn from beautiful to terrifying. A moose on the trail. It started like any normal walk in the woods, but suddenly a giant moose showed up right on the trail. If you've ever been to Alaska or Canada, you already know this isn't something to joke about. These animals may look calm, but they're huge, heavy, and can be dangerous if they feel threatened. And when one appears right in front of your car or out of the bushes, your heart definitely skips a beat. In the video, the moose is just minding its business, probably more interested in finding food than fighting. But still, the people nearby stayed very still, knowing how powerful those big antlers can be. Lucky for them, the moose didn't want any trouble, and they were extremely thankful for that peaceful moment. Face to face with a bear. She was just out on a peaceful trail walk when everything changed. Right in front of her stood a mother bear with her cubs. And the look in that bear's eyes said one thing: danger. The mother bear saw her as a threat and started to come closer. But this woman stayed calm. She knew what to do. She started making loud noises, backing away slowly, trying her best not to fall off the edge of the trail. The bear kept following her, and the drop beside her made every step feel like life or death. She whistled, clapped, shouted, anything to make the bear turn away. For a while, it didn't work, but finally, after a tense few minutes, the mother bear decided to walk off. The woman hurried back to her group, heart racing. That day, she didn't just survive a bear chase. She faced it head on. Mountain goat surprise at the peak? He finally made it to the top. A man was hiking high up in the mountains, and after a long climb, he reached the peak. As he pulled out his camera to enjoy the breathtaking view, something surprising happened. 2 mountain goats suddenly showed up. They didn't seem scared. just curious, almost like they were wondering what a human was doing all the way up there. The bigger goat looked straight at the man, standing calmly with its young one beside it. For a moment, no one moved. Just silence between man and wild. Slowly, the adult goat decided to turn around and walk away with its little one. Things could have gone wrong, but luckily, they didn't. The hiker stayed calm, and the goats chose peace instead of panic. Deadly moose encounter. They thought it would be a dream come true, but it turned into a nightmare. A couple visited Isle Royale National Park hoping to see a moose in the wild. For days, they searched the forests and trails without any luck. But on the final day, just when they were about to give up, a huge moose appeared right near their shelter. At first, they were excited. But everything changed in seconds. The moose suddenly locked eyes with them and started to charge. It wasn't curious, it was angry. Luckily, the moose backed off after the charge and didn't break in, but if it had kept going, it could have easily smashed through and seriously hurt them. The life-saving backpack. They were just out for a fun hike. A father and his son went exploring Utah's Snow Canyon, but things quickly turned scary. They took a wrong turn, lost their way, and ran out of supplies. With night falling fast and no help in sight, it felt like their fate was sealed. But then, something unexpected changed everything. In the very spot where they stopped, they found a backpack full of food, water, and warm clothes. It was left behind by another lost hiker a week earlier. That one bag kept them alive through the night until rescuers arrived. Even the rescue team was shocked at the twist of fate, and the hiker who left that backpack, he got rescued too. Mysterious wolf man in the woods. Hikers in Germany were walking through the forest when something totally strange stopped them in their tracks. They saw a wild-looking man. Not a wolf, not a creature, but a real man with a thick beard, messy hair, barely any clothes, and holding a spear like he was living in ancient times. Locals started calling him the Wolfman because of his wild appearance. What's even more strange is that only one photo of him was ever taken. No video, no close-up shots, just that one image. Some people think he might be one of those survival lovers who choose to live in the mountains alone with no modern things. It's odd, sure, but in today's world, you never know who's out there. Nature can be beautiful, but it can also hide your worst fears. If these clips gave you chills, hit that like button and subscribe for more spine-tingling encounters caught on camera, and tell us in the comments which moment made your heart stop.